Good now to you. It is our pleasure and honor to be playing with you in this fashion. We use the word playing as opposed to working, as there is no such thing as work from the field from where we are, and therefore it is all time for us and for you to enjoy what is coming through. Hello.
Hello.
We understand that there is or are some queries that you would like to share.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So one of my questions was around my soul purpose and how my spiritual development is going. And looking at the best path for me to evolve, whether it is to follow a set pattern or a series of practices, perhaps the works of Jesus or Buddha, or simply just to follow my own tuition, enjoy my life, and concentrate on being joyful and happy.
So your soul purpose is that which you create for yourself. In other words, you can choose whatever purpose your soul would like based upon you understanding yourself, knowing yourself, and feeling into what it is you would like to create in each now next moment. You are one who is already in service to others. You are in service to yourself simultaneously. You have had relationships that have helped the evolution and the growth based upon your soul contracts with these beings into their next levels. And you continue to do so on a regular basis. You have a good understanding of what it means to accept and to love oneself, and are applying this behavior for yourself, but not only in order to be a lighthouse, an inspiration to other selves. And this too has its merit. You know it has its merit because it delights you to do this effort, to do this action, to be yourself in this now moment and have others be inspired by that in them choosing to be themselves as well. There is no measure for the progress of your soul journey in that there is no one who is measuring you except for yourself. So you can choose to decide that you are, for example, 100% exactly in the right place and the right time in the right configuration for whatever you would call your soul journey at any given moment. Or you could choose to say that you are not there yet, that you have so far to go, that you can never achieve that destination. But we would counsel to choose the one of those two options, or the one of the myriad of options that does feel the best to you. For it may feel much better for you to say, I am exactly where I need to be, as opposed to, I will never get to where I need to be. And the truth of the matter is there is nowhere other than where you are that you need to be. You are always in your perfect location in terms of your journey and also in terms of your actual physical location. With regards to following a path, following a guidance, following a teacher, following a series of energy or information that has any particular label, you have used two examples of beings who historically have been documented to have been on their soul journey following their internal guidance system. You can see, however, that the journeys, the two examples that you have given, are quite different journeys from one another, and that they both bear the fruit of those beings coming into a state or being within a state of inspiring others and being in what you would consider or call enlightened beings, enlightened states, able to transmit to others the example of this light, this love, and yes, give their suggestions on the modalities that worked for them in order to achieve such states or such bliss within them. But if you were to have a conversation with either of these beings in this now moment, and you were to ask them how they felt, for example, when they turned another cheek, or how they felt, for example, when they sacrificed themselves, or how they felt, for example, when they made certain choices, for example, on how to speak or how to interact with others, they will tell you one thing, that is that universal information that could be of service to you as the individuation that you are. And that is that in those actions, in those choices, in those manifestations of action through them, they felt 100% well, good, bliss, joy. It was joyful in each moment that these beings chose the actions that they brought forth into existence in order to manifest what then was labeled as enlightened action or enlightened thought or enlightened wisdom from other selves. There was nothing specifically enlightened about any of the actions or thoughts or wisdom or teachings that came through these beings, except for the fact that they were aligned with their own innermost blissful being state. That is how you access divinity. So the question could be, yes, shall I follow a certain teacher or a certain practice? And the answer would be, of course you should or could, if it resonates for you. And you may find that following the teachings of Jesus would resonate in each and every one. But there is some part of you that does find some dissonance between some of the teachings and the way you would like to choose to live your individuated, creative, sovereign life. Therefore, you can pick and choose from any of the teachings. The one measure of which can be of service to you and others is the one that says, this is what lights me up. So the second aspect of your question, the second part of your question, shall you only follow your own inner bliss? Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell me anything about my spiritual guide?
You have not only what would be perceived of as one spiritual guide, you have many. There are those that you have more access to or that can communicate with you more clearly, more closely, and those that are further away. You do have what you perhaps in this now moment might perceive of as a guide, which is your higher self or your conscience that is guiding you. You have your guide in the form of your own emotions. You also have guides that would be or could be perceived of as metaphysical beings that you would think to be separate from you, but on another level are other aspects of you. For example, those that are passed on relatives or those that are from other cosmos or other systems from the one that you are in. In this now moment, you do have more access to what would be perceived of as one guide, almost a reference point, a version of you from what you could perceive of as a potential future. That is the model, is the example of all it is that you would like to be in your current reality, in your current manifestation, a goalpost, so to speak, for you to aim towards. And that guide is constantly giving you information in the form of inspiration, of instinct, and of emotion of which directions in which to go. This is your internal desire, your internal compass that does let you know which things look good or feel good to you and which do not. It guides you towards those things that are pleasant and pleasurable and away from those that are not serving you. And in that action, it is, and you are, because it is you, guiding yourself to the most easeful, peaceful, and fruitful potential timeline reality future that you could create for yourself. You do not necessarily listen at all times to this guide, and there's no consequence in that other than reality presenting you with more information in order to, at some point, choose things that feel good to you.
Thank you. I understand that when I pass over from this incarnation to the next phase, I would have a past life review and look at my life. I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to accelerate my evolution in this current incarnation to become more spiritually aware and to become more aligned with my higher self.
The recognition that you already are is a fundamental aspect of one's spiritual evolution, in that you are your higher self. The individuation or the identification with your individuation as a human is often the one thing that is impeding you from conducting your life from the space of being in alignment with yourself. It is all you. In other words, it is not a problem if the human is conducting human affairs, is having human imperfections, as you would see it, because the higher self does not see any imperfections. It does not see anything other than itself in manifest form. It is a witness to all of what the human is presenting. There is no separation from the higher self. Therefore, one of the steps towards aligning with the higher self is to stop seeing separation from oneself while in their human identification as well. To let go of this human identification, to allow yourself to be the witness as opposed to the actioning factor of your evolution. You are witnessing the story of a man that is having a human experience as the higher self that you are. And in understanding this from your human perspective, you can allow more freely whatever is to occur in your human interactions, in your human sphere, and naturally in the cessation of judgment, which is a human characteristic or ability, you will naturally align more with the higher self, therefore letting go of whatever does not serve from the human perspective towards that alignment. We understand that it is sounding like putting the cart before the horse, but it is not, because there was never a cart or a horse. It is all one thing. And from the perspective of your higher self or of your fully evolved or evolutionary self, there is no such thing even as evolution. In other words, the question to us would be, to you, from your alignment with your higher self, if you can tap into this now, does your higher self truly believe that you need to evolve at all?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm very happy with my life and very, very content with my life. And I want to do the best that I can. So I'm looking at how I can become the best that I can be.
Yes. You, from your human perspective, in each now moment, are always doing the best that you can and are always the best that you can be. From that knowing, you then free up that free will, that beautiful characteristic that you have from your human perspective to choose what is for you the next most exciting thing. What is for you the next best you can be? And then you have a new direction or hobby or, yes, game to play with yourself. So if, for example, tomorrow you decide that the best you can be would be to learn a new musical instrument, then you have the freedom and the ability to choose to do such thing. Or if you decide tomorrow that the best that you can be would be to reach more people with your teaching or your learning or your skills, then in tomorrow, all you have to do is choose new choices that help you to share your message, to spread your word more fully. Or if you decide that tomorrow the best that you can be is to be more at peace, you can choose to go and sit on a bench in a park and observe the ducks swimming in a pond for long periods of time while the butterflies fly overhead and be in that moment fully.
Thank you. So I'm seeing that it's my choice in whatever I decide to do, and being behind that choice.
Yes, this is the key.
Yes, thank you. Is it possible to, on that basis, it's not possible to quantify how many times I might need to reincarnate in order to spiritually evolve, because that outcome is determined by individual choices, and I have a multitude of choices that I could choose from at any point. And that is not known, or is that known?
Here is the perhaps condition or belief that is not serving you in this question, in that we would ask you, spiritually evolve for what? If you were not already spiritually evolved, you would not even be able to incarnate. So what is the urgency that you are having to not incarnate? What is the urgency that your soul or that your being or your thought process is telling you that this is not the best seat in the house, that this is not the best place to be, that being you in this now moment is not the most valuable use of consciousness in all of the universe, in all of the galaxies, in all of the isness of all that is?
That's a good question. I suppose it's a belief that there is something more sublime, a more sublime existence outside of this world.
One
That
of
I'm.
the most wonderful tricks of all that is that you have been given the most sublime existence possible, and your enlightenment is, if you were to be able to quantify it, based upon the realization of that one fact.
I see. Thank you.
With that, we will leave you with the light and the love of 1,000 suns.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching this particular Vagrein channeling clip. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so that I can continue bringing you more and more of Vagrein's channeling. Bye-bye.